Welcome to our Tech Talk. Tilina, the week is little dull.
Yeah, but finally everyone got Twitter 280 characters.
And 50 character naming.
Yeah.
I could never put my name on Twitter. So because Atulam
Especially Sri Lankan names, right?
Yeah, so I stuck with Carling for a very long time. Accidentally I saw that you can now, not only they did 280 characters, now you can do 50 characters on your name.
They should help business names as well, right? I mean,
Correct.
business names are normally a bit longer than names, right?
Correct.
So yeah, now timeline is like filled with annoying space messages.
Correct.
At least for the start, I think everyone is trying out what this is, right?
A lot of people don't use Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So so Twitter being used for different purposes, right? So when it originally came back, when we were using it, I think Tilna joined before I did.
Yeah.
I think 2007.
Six,
Top 10, right?
Yeah,
You were in the like Sri Lankan joiners top 10,
I
right?
guess.
Yeah. So basically, I'm not that lucky. So I joined in 2008. So the only reason we joined was back then Twitter had a feature where if you, let's say I send a message, it's still there, right?
Yeah.
If I send a message to Tilina, it comes as a text message.
Correct.
So back then text messages was expensive.
Yeah.
So we used that as a communication method to communicate with friends.
Yeah. No WhatsApp. Nothing.
No WhatsApp, nothing, right? So that's the reason for me to join to it. And then a lot of people start joining it, and it was a small community back then, right?
Yeah.
So everyone knew each other. So it's like you basically knew each other, right?
Yeah.
So it was a close knit community, and you communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Then it started growing, and then the political start coming in, the company starts coming in,
Yeah.
and now I use Twitter for mainly to consume news.
Yeah, it's, I mean, very easy to like digest, right? I mean, not very much information, but you get the gist of it. So.
Correct. So the problem with if let's say if you're using Facebook is it's full of fake news.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to filter out things, right?
Yeah.
What you like and what you don't like, right?
Yeah.
So with Twitter, the easy thing is you can only need to follow people you trust.
Yeah.
Plus organizations you trust, and you can even create a list, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you are following tech, let's say journalists, you create a list, add them to that. So if you're feeling at that point reading only about tech, you just go into that.
You just can click that list and you get only that
Correct.
information. So Twitter, it's very easy to like follow companies you love, as Kaling said, right? I mean, you can talk one to one.
So you can do
them.
direct messaging
Yeah.
if you want.
So, I mean, that's very cool. We didn't have that feature back in the day. I mean, talking someone in the company directly, it's very useful.
And I always found that Twitter was easy to get things done from a company than actually trying to contact them, right?
Yeah.
Because social media is easier to manage. So that's where I normally use, one of the reason I use Twitter is so I can get people to respond quickly, get things done.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. And another thing, Tilina, with Twitter, that you used to get restricted on communication with 140 characters, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you say, you have to stick to that. So you're to the point.
Yeah.
And that makes you go to the point.
Yeah.
You don't have to, go around. Now 280.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done something like keep the character to 140 and do a way to like add links or images separately. So
Correct.
that way, now we no point talking about it. It's already done. So let's see how 280 works in the real world.
But it's in terms of consuming information, Twitter has been the easiest way for me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's 180 characters. Either you make a point or not. So I can just either ignore it.
Yeah.
And go back. But Twitter has started doing little crazy things like here's what you missed. So
True. So they are trying out new things as Facebook is also doing. So they want to show what your friends are liking.
Yeah.
And as Carling said, what you missed, some old posts.
So I don't like that thing. So how it used to be was unless you really tweet something or retweet it. So retweeting is basically someone else says something. If you agree to, you can agree to it, disagree to it. It doesn't really matter. But you can retweet it. That means your followers will see that. So that's how it used to be. Right?
Yeah.
Now they have something called like.
Yeah.
Well, it's a heart basically. So you can tap on it. So what happens is, let's say Tilina is following me and I'm following someone else, but Tilina is not following that person.
Yeah.
If I like that person tweet, Tilina will see it.
Yeah.
Which I think I think that like basically ruin the tweet
Yeah,
experience.
it would be
right?
great if they can like provide a way to block those extra things, right?
Correct. So in terms of your mentions, Tilina, you can say what mentions you would like to see, right?
Yeah.
For example, only from people you follow, things like that. But in terms of the general timeline, there's nothing much you can do.
Yeah.
But maybe there are apps. But so Twitter has a good app for the phone.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, the thing is, with new changes, a lot of apps stopped working after the character change until you like update the app.
So basically, I've been using Twitter app, the official app, on
Yeah.
my phone, and it works perfect.
Yeah.
But I always found that there's no alternative in terms of the desktop app, right?
Yeah.
So I tried TweetDeck, which used to be a separate company, then Twitter bought it over
Yeah.
and ruined it basically. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then, so what yesterday I found out was the easiest way is to go to mobile.twitter.com
Right.
and use that.
Okay.
So that's a clean cut interface of the mobile experience
Yeah.
and doesn't have any clutter, no advertisement. It's basically that works out
Yeah.
really good. So if
So
you like,
it's very similar like using it in a phone.
correct.
Yeah.
So but that's what I use right now. So I used to use something else called Silverlight, which went out nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So we had to take a small break. See you after this. Welcome back. So when you have a lot of money, Tilina, you try to come up with new ways to spend it, right?
Yeah.
So now, if I had a lot of money, I would build a city. So that's
That's what Bill Gates is going
to do. So what he's trying to do till here? So he's going to
Yeah,
buy.
I think he wants to focus more on tech and stuff.
Correct.
So he's going to build schools, an entire community in the area.
So he's going to spend money.
It's going to have like 80,000 people in there.
Yeah.
Let's see how it.
Is there any way we can go there? So basically, what Bill Gates is trying to do, I think he's trying to build a tech-oriented city, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, cities are normally, I mean, in Sri Lanka, you don't plan cities at all, right? It just automatically happens, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then you try to fix it.
Yeah.
So in other countries, what they do is they actually plan cities, they put it in place. But
They have separate place for you to live, separate place for officers.
correct.
Yeah.
So here what has happened was Bill Gates decided he wanted to make it a little bit techy. So he's building his own tech city. So how do you apply to this?
I have no idea.
It's not like going to Mars, right?
Now it looks like we are losing the lottery as well, right? Green card. So
Yeah. So basically, is Sri Lankans losing it? The green card lottery.
everyone.
Okay.
Trump doesn't like it because some.
So what? Now it's out, right? Now it's actually active. Now the DV lottery for
Yeah.
2020, I think.
I'm not sure anymore.
He said he don't like it, but doesn't mean it's stopped,
Yeah,
right?
he.
So he was upset about Kim Jong Il is not being calling him old and not being friends. I like the guy, to be honest. I mean, not getting.
We were talking about Twitter in the first segment, so.
So I mean,
he is very active on Twitter, right?
So the most active person on Twitter I've seen is what's his name?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. So I mean, I really like him. I mean, he's honest, I feel. He just says what he feels.
I guess we should switch to tech.
So in terms of tech,
so calling a Pixel 2 had the burn-in problem, right?
Yeah, it's not going well for it.
Yeah, but now they have pushed an update with saturated mode. So
I think we spoke about it last week, right?
no, this is a new one. So
another update.
Yeah. So I think it will help to, like, you don't have to manage your thing with the settings. So they have
now it's automated, basically.
Automated. You only switch the saturated mode on if you want like Samsung like vivid colors.
Right.
I mean, if you take the Samsung colors, it's not the 100% real colors, right?
No, it's not.
Saturated. So
real colors don't really look good.
real colors are dull.
Yeah. So this is I mean, like, I'll tell you a story, right? So I bought this TV like what, 3 years ago, 2014, right? Yeah, 3 years ago. So when I bought it, so I knew what to do, right? This TV looks really vivid. The colors was amazing.
Yeah.
So then I started calibrating the TV, right? Since I don't have the spectrometer, color meters and all that, what I did was this is not something that fairly accurate, but it's okay. So I got some third party who actually calibrated the TV and for them to send me the configurations.
Right.
So on almost all the new TVs, you have a service menu where you can calibrate it. So you can basically calibrate it, mean you're calibrating the panel based on the environment you are in. So let's say your light where you are.
So you get to like choose the grays and stuff, right?
And not only that, then you can also select based on your input. Let's say your Blu-ray player,
Right.
and then how your satellite TV would look like, how your Xbox would look like. So this calibration will try to make the TV to show colors more accurately.
Yeah.
So when a certain person do it, it should be matching your environment, the lighting, your background colors, your reflections, where you're sitting, what the input is. So for that to happen, I don't know whether anyone in Sri Lanka has this, right?
Yeah.
So these capabilities, and these need real certification, a lot of really expensive equipments. So since I don't have it, what I did was there are certain sites that actually calibrate and they just put it out, right? But
there's this small gadget color meters.
But
you can
no, they are not accurate enough.
Yeah.
So you need like like $10,000-$15,000 equipments at least to get into basic level, right?
Yeah.
So forget about that. So it's not gonna happen now. So what I did was, as soon as I got it, I was watching it. Then I got this file from this site. So I set it up as is, right? And then I tried to set the ambient lighting to match that. So they said this is what our ambient light temperature is. This is what it is. So I set it up and looked at it, and it looked pretty bad, right? When you look at it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's bad, right?
Yeah.
It means it's accurate.
Yeah. Even like in our old TVs, some people like the dynamic.
So that's what they do, right? When you go to a showroom, when you look at TVs, they look so colorful, right? So what they do is they put it on this showroom mode called dynamic, right?
Yeah.
It just oversaturate colors, it make it really bright, vivid.
Looks very HDR-ish.
Yeah. So what you feel like is it's but when you look at something, just look out the window, right?
Yeah.
What do you see? Do you see anything like that? Do you see like bright colors? Do you see like, so it's not real.
Yeah.
So the actual picture looks bad. So that's what a calibrated TV is.
Yeah.
Well, if it depends, right?
Yeah.
So with the Samsung phones, that's it. I mean, I feel really nice colors and all.
It's definitely a personal preference. So Google has finally give the user the power to like choose whatever you like.
But does it make the colors more accurate, or does it make it just look vivid?
Well, saturated means it's not true colors, it's vivid.
Yeah.
If you turn it off, it's going to be dull.
Yeah.
So real colors.
So real colors will ruin the screen, is it?
No.
So it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the saturated color, that's where the screen burning comes in, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep it at the original level, it's not.
It's combination of things. So not only this saturated thing is related to the burning thing. So
Correct.
this kind of separate things. So to stop burning things, they have done something like fade in faster, some stuff like that. So the buttons in the bottom will fade out fast.
Correct.
It won't stay.
Right.
So those kind of things.
Now again comes to a question, right? Apple always makes the perfect displays, right?
Yeah.
They always try to.
Yeah.
And they always try to make the colors more accurate, right? But Apple monitors looks really good. Even iPhones, right?
Yeah.
So my question for Tilina is, since you are an iPhone user, is iPhone colors accurate?
That's IPS color range, right?
Correct.
So Apple is mostly in this color range.
Yeah.
So with a retina thing, you have 3 pixels in one dot. So your eye is kind of tricked to see the color.
Yeah, correct.
So in that way, I think Apple colors look more natural. So if you take a Samsung phone, it's very bright and vivid.
Yeah.
So that's that different as well.
Okay, got it. So we had to take a small break. See you after this one. Welcome back. So we are talking about color accuracy, calibration. So now come to a question that a lot of people wanted to know from us. How do you determine what TV to buy?
Yeah. The Christmas is also coming, so a lot of people
Or
might
buy
be
TV.
interested.
So
in buying.
TVs are first thing you need to understand is what the size is, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the basic comes in. So it depends on where you are placing your TV, where you are getting seated, right?
Yeah.
So the rule of thumb used to be, right, if it's a 12-inch TV, you have to sit like, 12 feet away, like that, right? That's what it used to be, But nowadays, it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference, right? The screen sizes are bigger, but the resolution has gone up quite a lot. So as long as if it's a 55-inch TV, as long as you are more than 6 to 7 feet away, you're okay. In most cases.
Yeah.
So that's fine, right? So even if it's a 32-inch TV, if you are like 5 to 6 feet away, you're basically covered. So what happens is with the 55, when you're 5 to 6 feet away, what happens is you have to move your head a little. So 8 feet, 8 to 10 is the ideal, I think.
Yeah.
There are a lot of articles about where to place a TV, where to sit. But we all know when you set up a TV, it's not like you sit on an ideal location, you sit wherever you feel comfortable, right? And you watch TV with a family, it's not like you find the golden spot and you sit on it and watch, right? So one thing.
Not everyone is a Sheldon, right?
Correct. Not everyone is a child, except my daughter. So have that TV size figured out. Then you have to figure out the viewing angles. So let's say you have like a extended family where a lot of people sit around the TV. So the newer generation TVs has a viewing angle. So make sure that angles matches, because every specification say your best viewing angle is from here to here.
Yeah.
So then you have to figure out if you place your TV here, what that viewing angle is.
So that means if you are looking from the side, you won't see the picture clear, right?
Accurately.
Yeah.
It might be darker, you might not see the color. So make sure that the furthest person will have, his inside that viewing angle.
Yeah.
Then you need to figure out what's your budget. Right. That's ultimate. Right? Unless you have ultimate budget, it's fine. So now if you're getting into a TV, if it's above 14 inch, make sure it's a 4K.
Yeah.
There's no point buying HD, right?
Yeah.
If it's 32 and below, 40 and below, well, basically it doesn't matter whether it's HD or 4K.
Yeah.
But 4K will still give you better pictures, but not that significant, right? Then you have to figure out whether you're going to get a LED TV, basically mean LCD LED TV or an AMOLED. I would stay away from AMOLED now, because it's new, hasn't had much time to mature.
Yeah.
With phones, you understand this screen burning and everything is coming out.
Yeah.
So it can happen to TVs as well.
Yeah.
So especially LGs. But in terms of reviews, in terms of tech, LG has the best color accuracy and how it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Samsung is second and Sony is almost up to par with these guys, right?
Yeah.
So if you take one to three, it's LG, Sony, and then Samsung, right?
Yeah.
So they're good, but not cheap for LEDs.
Yeah.
But if you take LCD panels, LED TVs, basically 4K, it's Samsung, Sony, and LG. All three are the same. But with TVs, the problem is then you get series, right? So every TV, let's say if you take a Samsung, you get the 5 series, the 6 series, 7 series, and then so on and so forth. So what happens is the panel, the technology it uses differs.
Yeah.
And then the picture engine that delivers these images differs again, right?
Yeah.
So more you spend is rule of thumb is like if you're spending a lot of money, if you're spending that, you will get better technology, right? But curved TVs are a gimmick.
Yeah.
It's pointless, right? I mean, I've seen it, I've used it, it doesn't make much of a difference and it doesn't make sense. So don't put that money on a curve.
And also it looks weird on a wall. If you want to mount in a wall, then
I would spend that money on the higher end version of flat screen.
yeah.
Then please, please, please buy a 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
At least a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to get most out of your TV, right? So if you put a Blu-ray disc inside, that's where. Because if you're watching regular TV with an antenna, doesn't really matter what TV you buy.
Yeah.
It's not gonna look good because we don't have 4K TV broadcasting. We don't even have digital broadcasting, so it's out.
Yeah.
So if you are using satellite or a cable provider, make sure you get the HD packages, and then those selected HD channels you will be able to view in a good quality picture, right? And then the next one is sound. So now the TVs are smaller, thinner, the speakers are smaller.
Yeah.
So the sound is pretty bad in most TVs. So at least invest on a sound bar. A cheap one is fine, right? Because the dialogue on most TVs are really bad. When I say a dialogue, let's say you're watching a movie, the dialogues are not highlighted, right? Because the speakers are smaller and it's really difficult for it to produce sound.
Yeah.
So most of the speakers are down firing, right? So you have the TV and then the speakers are inside and it just bounces.
Yeah.
So best to have a sound bar where you get front firing, and the bonus on this is you will get a subwoofer, you'll get better bass, and then somewhat of a surround sound experience without hassle of having all these wires around, right?
Yeah.
Most of the newer sound bars are wireless. So that means you only need to power up these devices, not to plug in other cables, right? For example, if you take a Samsung soundbar, it's connected by Bluetooth with the TV. Then the subwoofer is also wireless, so you need to plug the soundbar to the power and then the subwoofer to the power. Rest is all wirelessly connected. So if you cover all that, the next and the final thing you need to think about is the placement, right?
Yeah.
So if you're already deciding that placement place is this, make sure you don't have doors behind you, right? Which are open where the sunlight comes in.
Yeah.
You're going to get shadows during the daytime. So if you have
Glare
windows on the side,
will be there.
yeah, so there will be shadows. So those things you need to think about because nowadays the TV screens are glossy and reflective. So you will see those. Even if you have like a wall lamp, right? When you look at the screen, you see that lamp on the screen.
Yeah.
So those things sometimes might put you off. So all in all, when you're buying a new TV, if you want to get the best experience, it's not watching TV channels, right? You can download movies, make sure you're downloading it in a higher resolution. You can watch things like Netflix,
Yeah.
which has even up to 4K, but keep in mind your data will be used. I mean, even a 4K LED TV still looks quite good.
Yeah.
And try to calibrate it.
Yeah. Oh, what about the smart features and all that calling? Do people use it, or
I mean,
do
it
people use
comes-
their own thing?
It comes in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this. 3D is basically out, we know that, right?
Yeah.
So
No
it's
one
4K and
cares about
HDR.
that.
So 3D is pointless. I mean, they don't even make it anymore. The newer model TVs don't even come with 3D. But in terms of the smart features, Tilina, so basically in Sri Lanka only 3 things basically you can use, right?
Yeah.
You can use Netflix, you can use YouTube, and then you can use a USB drive and plug it in and watch movies, right?
Yeah.
So you get restricted onto that because most of the apps don't work here, and that's it. But having said that, having this helps.
Okay.
Because I have a system called Plex where I have installed, it's like a local Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So I have my content on a network server where I get categorized, say, let's say I have few TV series categorized by season, it has information, everything. put on nicely where I can, select them, watch them later,
Yeah.
and then go to my room TV and open it up and go,
Yeah.
start from where I left off.
Hmm.
So these kind of things help because I can install an app on that TV.
Yeah.
So we are buying a TV to browse internet, make Skype is no longer available on Samsung, so they
Right.
kicked it out. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, smart features are, well, not a must, right? But when you go into that the good level 4K TVs, it comes in.
Yeah.
So it's an additional added benefit, right? So don't look for a smart TV because it's not like, unless you have specific requirement, right? Again, we have to say that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have those specific requirement, go for it. But you don't have to look for it because if you're buying something high end, it comes in.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to go and buy it. But I had a smart TV for a couple of years now. Right, even before the current TV, I had another one which already had smart features. The only thing I realized I used is the YouTube app. Apart from Plex app, which I already have, I stopped watching Netflix because it just consumed a lot of data, and it just didn't make sense for me. I mean, it's up to you, but 4K HDR, LED, OLED, it's up to you, and try to go at the highest end model, right? And Sony Android TVs are bad. That we have to say, because I just found that a lot of Android Sony TV that runs has issues, right? The software gets stuck, it freezes. That's an issue. Might get resolved in the new upcoming models, right? Currently, I saw a lot of them having issues. So if you have any question, comments, how we can get in touch with us is emailing us arttechtalk@takaslk.com, or you can go to Facebook page of Art TV or the YouTube channel. Just search for Art Tech Talk on YouTube and you should be able to find the channel. So thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have for today. See you next week.